Hello and welcome to Bell Curve Gaming. Today I'm bringing you a Terrakion deck and we're building it around this first attack here, this Cavern counter attack. For 3 energies, one of them has to be fighting, does 50 base damage, but if you have all your bench Pokemon with at least 1 damage counter on there, this attack does an extra 150. So that 3 energies, suddenly it's getting 200 damage. And of course, we're partnering him with possibly my favourite Pokemon in the TCG right now, the Spiritomb, because the Spiritomb has the building Spite ability, which allows us to put a damage counter onto this Pokemon. Now, that's really good because we need our bench Pokemon to have damage counters on there. Plus, it has a great attack, Anguish Cry, which does 30 damage times the damage counters on this Pokemon. So, caps out 150 plus the 10 base, so 160. Whack a Hustle Belt to it, and that's 220 damage for 1 energy. So, super great value. Love the Spiritomb. You see him all the time, and I'm sure you're familiar with the Spiritomb by now. But we need also a way to get lots of damage counters onto our basic Pokemon, because not every card in here that's going to be sitting on the bench is a Spiritomb. So we've got Trapinch to help us out. This is a nice easy basic for 1 fighting energy. Mini Earthquake does 20 damage, but he's here because it also does 10 damage to each of our bench Pokemon. So if we've got our Jinx out and our Blitzel out, it gets damage counters onto them as well and really charges up the bench, ready for our Terrakion to be able to hit in the active. And that's really what we're trying to do, is Trapinch in the early game and then Mini Earthquake, get everyone set up, and then start hitting in with our Terrakion or our Spiritomb. So we can hit in either way. And sometimes this is a slower build deck, unfortunately. Sometimes we might just be sitting with something in the active, such as a Terrakion, and just building up for the back line, ready to go later on. Now, I've mentioned Jinx and Blitzel as well. Jinx is absolutely clutch to this deck. We really don't want to be prizing our Jinx, and my answer to those people that are probably going to put in, what happens if you prize a Jinx? Take prize cards, lean on the Spiritomb. That's really what we go about doing. But the Jinx here with the Ominous Posture allows us to move damage counters between our Pokemon. So that allows us to make sure all our bench has damage counters on there, but also allows us to quickly switch damage counters back to things like Spiritomb to charge them up quicker. So it's absolutely huge, the Jinx in this deck. And then the Zeb Striker, I just love Zeb Striker in decks in general because it allows us to make us a little bit more stamp proof and sprint through our deck, which can come in absolutely clutch. So that's the reason why he's here. And the Terrakions have also got some decent HP to them. So 140 base, 4 retreat costs allows us to add in something like a buff padding to add an extra 50 HP to it, so 190, and suddenly it's quite beefy, and hopefully it's taking 2 hits while delivering 200 damage. Now to pay for the energy cost, we're using Welder because we don't have DCE, so Welder allows us to attach a couple of fire energies, hopefully to our Terrakion, and then just 1 energy attachment, and we're attacking with Terrakion. So yeah, the rest of it's just about setup. So we've obviously got our 7 fire energies for the welders. We've got 4 rainbows because that also has the benefit of adding a damage counter to anything that we attach it to. Unit energies because this is fighting and dark, so it covers both our attack costs for Terrakion and the Spiritomb. We've got Oak setup because we're running lots of different types of Pokemon, so Oak setup's really good for that. We're running Cynthia, 4 of them for consistency. We're running 4 Poker Gears as well. I think that's absolutely essential when you're running a welder deck, just because that allows us to find our welders and things like that. Stadium of choice is Giant Hearth because we need to find fire energies. That's just the absolute priority. So we're looking at Giant Hearth here as our main stadium. Fire Crystal, just to be able to chase fire energies from the discard. We could probably get away with a 1 count here rather than anything else. We've got a couple of Pokecoms just to search out or switch things from our hand to get the Pokemon that we need. And a Power Pad just to refresh supporters. I did find finding this that it was very bricky, how I initially built it. So I had to go much more heavy on things like Poker Gears and Power Pads just to be able to make sure that we're consistent enough right through the match. So let's get into some matches. Hello, Dom Wyvern, welcome. Chuck both down. Goozer and Halla's useless turn 1, really. We're more looking for the Poker Gear to hit something. Got a Steven Dissolve and a Whitney. Judge. Draw a card into a fire NG. Okay, Slowduck. We've got to hit something here. Oak setup. I mean, that's good, but Cynthia's probably better. Just because Oak setup means that I've got nothing for next turn. As much as we want Oak setup turn 1, it'll give me literally nothing for next turn. We'll attach here. Cynthia. Got minimal for this turn that's coming up as well. We'll whack the other Terrakion down. We'll just hold. Probably looking at Cynthia again. So it's going to be something that can one-shot me easily. We've just got to be able to get hits in as quickly as we can. Got the Stevens, turn 1. Really tempted to put this second Trapinch down, just so I'm not drawing into it. No, in fact, we'll use the Great Catcher. That's a better idea. We'll Great Catcher this one up. And get rid of the switch and the Trapinch. And then Cynthia. We need a fighting NG here. Rather desperately. There's the fighting NG. Beautiful. Alright, so Great Catcher. These two. Go and get that other Slowduck up. Quickly Cynthia. Alright, so we do have some Spiritombs cranking now. I'm a little bit worried by this hand though. We might stamp you as well. Just because you did pull in whatever three cards that you wanted right there. That's a little bit concerning to me. I might drop this Terrakion down and go with a mini Earthquake. Got plenty of damage counters down now. That 20 damage onto you is good. Go to Stevens. So at least it slowed you down. We've got to expect to get KO'd here on the next one. And probably you're healing this back up, I'd say. Would be the next plate. Ew. What's the poke gear going to get me? Welder or Oak setup? We don't have a fire NG. Which isn't the greatest. Might go here. We'll build Spite twice. You're both going to be at 40 after this. Mini Earthquake. So you're hitting 170, which isn't going to be enough. You're hitting 200, which isn't going to be enough. Oh. We need a fire NG. That's what I'm desperately hoping on our top deck is a fire NG. So I guess here's the question. Do I go in and hit him with Spiritomb? Just hit him as hard as I can right now. You're gonna Great Potion it. Yeah, that's what I thought. Knowing that I'm any NG card away from being able to hit it out with that Terrakion, I think so. I think that's the best bet. Come on, deck. Be kind. That's not kind. What could help here? This probably gives me the most outs, to be fair. But then I've got no way to get damage counters on you. Cooking you up is probably the best bet. Energy card to you. And Anguish Cry. Oh yeah, it's only 160, isn't it? Not 170. So I'm going to be living and dying off top decks just a minute. And I mean full on living and dying off top decks. So the second Slowduck's ready to go. I think we've got to promote this Spiritomb. Even though there are some NGs that won't, like even if I top deck an NG, this isn't a guaranteed KO. Ouch. Although, welder onto this guy, you never know. That'll play. That'll play. Build some spite here. Just work this out. That's 100 at the moment. We don't need anything more than that. That'll be good for the next turn. We might need something to ditch, because if I top deck a welder, I'll need to ditch this hustle belt to get some energies. Although this is getting 3 cards anyway. Yeah, it's getting 3 cards anyway. We'll go there. And Anguish Cry. Smack you out. Get the 3 prize cards. Cynthia. So at least we've got some draw support. Ah, Jinx was prized. So from here, I think Terrakion's our next attacker. I think we drop the Jinx down. And by I think Terrakion's our next attacker, I mean Terrakion's our next attacker. It'll get 200 damage onto this guy. It's a lot for this to heal. Probably doable, but still a lot. So yeah, I reckon Jinx is the best play here. I might poke comms the Jinx and just pull the Jinx back. 3 prize cards each. That's a nice top deck. I think that's what we're going to do, is poke comms the Jinx and pull the Jinx back. Just so I'm thinning the deck as much as we can. Jinx is what we want here. Chuck this down. Cynthia. Didn't find welder. It's probably what we're really hoping for. Let's get rid of probably the Trapinch. Grab a couple of fires. Start building up Spiritomb. So we got attackers for the next 2 turns at least. We do need to remember we need to pull something to you this turn. Like this to you. And Cavern counter for 200. Let's see if you can heal that enough. Because I've got a 220 hit coming. So you need to be able to get more than 170 of that healed. You haven't got a healing supporter, so that's good. Which means you would have to have a lot of healing cards, like trainer cards in your hand. Item cards. You have used 1 Great Potion, so you don't have that at your disposal anymore. I suppose the other way of thinking about it would be to get out of the active and go to a Lapras and try buy turns that way. These Lapras's aren't big threats to me. No. So we've got game. Right there, Spiritomb's ready to roll. Come back in and get the KO. You just deliver as much damage as you can by the looks. To finish, Spiritomb into the active and Anguish Cry to finish. Boom. Alright. That was looking pretty dodgy for a long time there. But the deck just pulled through. Hello, the Nuishi. Welcome. Alright, so I think we're in a slow build-up phase. Probably a oak setup to begin with. Depends what we're up against. Double Blitzel. I have a feeling it might be Rayquaza. That's what I feel like it is, Rayquaza. The old special lightning energies. It may be actually the Rayquaza Battle Box deck, which I don't think I've ever actually played. I've played the other Battle Box, but I don't think I've played the Rayquaza version. Does the Rayquaza version have Zapdos? I think it does. I think it does. Anyway, I think we're just doing an oak setup here. We're going to go and get ourselves a Blitzel, a Spiritomb, and the old... Okay, Jinx is not here. We're probably depending more on Spiritombs than anything else. We go Trapinch. But how am I getting you out of the active? I'm not. Alright, well, this is less than ideal. This is like the worst fear imagined right now, is having the Jinx prized. We don't have any switching. This removes a fire. Well, we'll just attach here anyway. You never know what could happen. I'm assuming that I'm going to get KO'd before too long. Might have to look at a Boulder Crush to get the first KO. I don't know. Cynthia out of this anyway. Let me go with the Zap Kick. Oh, you're bricked. Ouch. Well, it gives me time to get out of this, I guess. What we're actually going to do is we're going to do something really weird and just continue setting up. Rather than actually trying to get KOs. Just because we need more Spiritombs down. That was actually a dumb thing to do. I should have just Cynthia'd, but oh well. Thins these oaks out of my hands as well. Sees a Zeb Striker. I feel like you're going to get KO'd pretty early before I get a KO. I've just got to be able to respond 1 for 2. That's the key here. Being able to respond. Interesting that went Rayquaza given that you were bricked. Interesting call. So we really want to try and probably set up this Terrakion more than this one. I still don't know how I'm going to damage counter to you just yet. It's very interesting call that you went that way though. Oh, Zeb Striker, beautiful. I don't really want to pull you up just a minute. Or just Cynthia. Well, that's fun. Sprint out of that. Lose a fire crystal, which isn't great. We do have what it takes to just KO you straight away with the Spiritomb, don't we? On the next turn. I think so. Assuming that you manually retreat here and attack in with Rayquaza. I'm pretty shocked you didn't go with the Zeb Striker. So basically the way I've been playing this up until now, this deck, is hoping that we don't prize Jinx. And if we prize Jinx, well, the plan, and this is what we're seeing now, is what the plan is when we prize Jinx. The plan is to pray. Is to lean on the Spiritomb and hope that we can get out of trouble through the Spiritombs until we can unprize our Jinx. That's what we're hoping for. It's really the game plan. You are going to stick with this Zeb Striker, which is interesting. What I could do here is I could sit back and wait for a turn with just a simple NG attachment to the Terrakion. So Terrakion is all ready to go with one NG attachment. Knowing that I'm going to hit him with Spiritomb in the next turn, and I'm going to great capture that Rayquaza up. Zeb Striker gets me on the next one, but hopefully I can find another NG to hit back with the Terrakion. Or the other Spiritomb. The other Spiritomb is probably just fine, isn't it? We'll go and get another Spiritomb cooking. That's what we'll do here. Sorry, Terrakion, but sacrifices had to be made. And that sacrifice is you. So I know that the Zeb Striker is going to KO me back. Fan Club, this will probably go and get more Rayquazas. Nope, going to get your Magnemite line up. So I do think this is just the Battle Arena deck. We'd be laughing if Jinx wasn't prized at the moment. Just sitting here having a great time. I do have to think about this. How many... I can't actually one-shot you without this. And it'll be sad if Zappy's the one that comes back to me. We might actually take you with this Spiritomb just at the minute. And take out the Zeb Striker instead. Just so it's not Zapdos that gets us. Does suck that I'm giving up the Great Catcher. frustrating. Get rid of that, grab the last couple of fire energies out. So a bit of a change of plan. Spill Anguish Cry. Just so that Zapdos is unlikely to be the one that comes in and gets a cheeky little KO. Try and force the Rayquaza up. Although Zappy's going to come. So we purposely didn't build Spite there. So if you do hit him with the Zapdos, you're just powering me up. And we're looking for our Jinx. That's what we want, is our Jinx. Interesting that you're attaching the Rayquaza. Thunder Assault's not going to get me, that's fine. Buys us the turn we're looking for. Do have a bit of an interesting question. Do I want to get after that Rayquaza this turn? I mean, the Rayquaza is going to be coming for me at some stage, so let's just draw some more cards first. We'll chuck this NG to the Zeb Striker. Got ourselves the old Hustle Belt. We could now go for it, which I think we will, to be honest. Zapdos gets me on the way back anyway. So that doesn't feel great. But then we can hit him with Terrakion. I reckon what the play is we wait a turn. With Anguish Cry here. Smack the Zapdos out. We'll wait a turn. What's your weakness? Grass. Yeah, so this is where we want to pull in Rayquaza. Since you're not going to take out the Spirit Team. Oh, you are. The old tackle. We'll go in Terrakion. Still going to go with that play. So we'll Great Catcher. Get rid of the Oak setup and a Welder. That seems fun. Bring in Rayquaza. We'll get a Rainbow Energy to you. Seems like a waste of Rainbow Energy, but what can you do? I'm going to stamp you as well. Right now we'll just hold this. We got the Guzma and Hala. Why not? Let's Guzma and Hala. Get rid of those two. Get some knee pads. Get this energy here for the next turn. That's all we want to do. That's here for the next turn. Then we'll just sprint out of this on the next one. We'll Cavern counter. Smack you out. So now I'll make it that you've got to get to your Magneton this turn. If you want to get the KO. And even so, that's hitting for 180. Oh no, it's hitting for an extra 90. So retreating out of that's going to be awkward for you. And if we can get away with just KOing this, we're pretty much laughing. Like without losing our Terrakion. Just need to build you up. And our Jinx is staying prized. Pretty lucky we haven't seen Magneton hit the field, to be honest. Rayquaza's ready to go. You don't get the KO. that puts me in a real great spot now. Build some spite here. And right now, we're just going to Cavern counter. Got everything that we need. Terrakion gets this KO here. And I don't really see you lasting a hit. And you need to last quite a number of hits, given that you need to get another 4 prize cards. So you actually don't even have the KO here yet, because you're hitting for 90. Oh no, you're hitting for 120, 150. There you go. There's the KO. Alright, we're home. Despite prizing our Jinx right to the end. Of course, we left our Jinx for the very last one. Alright, build some spite. And a very weird way to play this Terrakion. And probably not the optimal way to play it. Definitely not the optimal, but we got there. And we got away with having our Jinx prized. And it is time to rate this deck, and same with damage here. Well, damage for 1 NG we can get up to 220 with the Spirit Tombs. For 3 NGs we can get up to 200 with the Terrakions. But the upside of this guy is it's theoretically possible to start using this guy from turn 1, like your first turn in the match. But he's a little bit tanky as well, so 140 HP. With some knee pads, it's 190, so he's a bit of a beefy Pokemon that's hitting for 200. The damage on it though, we're giving it a 9.5 out of 10, can't one-shot anything in the game, but really good value on a non-GX Pokemon. As for the defense, well, 1 prize card trade, no GX Pokemon in sight, plus we've built this to be a budget deck, so it's kind of nice in that way as well. The Spirit Tombs are going down really easy. We don't want to see any kind of damage spread because that will absolutely annihilate this deck. But the Terrakions, they can be a little bit more beefy with some knee pads on there, 190 HP. So yeah, we're liking that side of things. We're giving the defense an 8 out of 10. As for reliability, that's the tricky part of this deck. It's got a lot going on because we always have to make sure that our bench Pokemon have at least 1 damage counter on there at all times. There's a lot to think about, which makes it interesting to play, but it can get a little bit bricky. Zep Striker is huge to try and help with that, with the sprinting, but we've had to change the deck a little bit from my initial build to really add more poker gears, add even a power pad, just to try and make sure that we're getting into the supporters that we need when we need them for consistency purposes. So it can be a little bit bricky, and there's a lot going on the reliability side of it. Certainly the weakness of the deck, we're giving that a 6.5 out of 10. So overall, what do I think? Well, it's certainly fun to play with just because there's a lot of thinking with this deck. You've got to always think about who's attacking, how are we attacking, and how are we making sure that we've got all of our bench Pokemon with damage counters on there. Jinx is absolutely huge in the deck. You've got to try and seal it out, get that Jinx into play as early as possible, and fingers crossed that we don't prize him, but if we do prize our Jinx, then we've just got to rely on our Spirit Tombs to carry us until we can find our Jinx from the prizes. But overall, we had a lot of fun. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10.